Hi, listener. This is From Ideology to Unity, a spiritual journey where we let go of ego and ideological doctrine in favor of meaning, purpose, and unity as a whole. So, on that note, let's discuss for a moment the purpose of this podcast and perhaps even the inspiration behind the name. So, there are many ideological divides at the moment. There are also religious divides, and just divides in terms of how we respond to certain crises and key issues that people might have fear about or are very emotionally involved in. Now, at this time, this is a time of awakening, perhaps even ascension, where a lot of negative emotions and dense energies are coming up to be seen and felt and to be let go of or transmuted into love and light. And there's a lot of, this is a time, according to the law of one, this is considered to be a time of harvest, as it is called. Essentially, those on the service to others path at this time, or set to be on that path, they have the opportunity to use the great testing, the great challenge or catalyst of these experiences regarding perhaps what you could call authoritarianism, or, well, the issue to do with disease and fear associated with it. Fear of death is a big thing being brought up right now. I'm sure you know what I'm referring to. And a tendency to, perhaps on one hand, go along with giving away freedom and power to others who say they will help you if you do so, if you give it away, and or to fight angrily against authority that, right? But there's an opportunity to surpass or to send that division and conflict to a more loving perspective that is unifying rather than and compassionate, right? This testing experience in different ways, that it gives us the opportunity to become more aligned with unconditional love and compassion and so forth. And that's the service to others path. The service to self path, which I'm not going to name names, but those who are advocating or deceiving people into giving their freedom and rights away in the name of what they portray as a righteous cause. And I'm not talking specifically about a certain crisis at the moment. I'm talking generally as well about any movement or cause which is being put up there as this righteous cause, which is justified to give up, to depower, to give your power away for, in the name of the authorities or those you give your power to doing it for you, right? And this can be any ideology where they seek to get power, and then they get in power, and the idea is, oh, they'll create this wonderful world if only you just give your power away. Maybe you can vote for them, or maybe it doesn't matter how you do it. It could be in a cult, it could be communism, fascism, even liberalism, any ideology you can think of, right? There's this potential there. And so, in a way, with every ideology, we're all in the same boat, in that it's the same dynamic, a bit like a religion, where there are the priests or those who are looked up to as authority figures, in that mode of thought, that dualistic mode of thought, where this is the right absolute truth, those are the enemy, we need to fight that enemy, we are threatened by that enemy, and we need to give our power away to give your power away to us, and we will resolve all your problems, right? That sort of thing. Meanwhile, the other side have been going through the exact same experience, right? But they've been told by their priests and their high figures of authority, and I mean priests very metaphorically here, because priests can be politicians, they can be prominent figures in a movement, they can be scientists, they can be just people on social media, even, or the media, or in a big business. Prominent figures that we look up to as inspirational. You know, they might be well, in any aspect of in which we look up to, and we might give away our power to, right? And then we get in this system of thought where there's this whole network of connected beliefs that we're invested in, and we don't see how the other people see it. We only see how we see it, and this can really limit our perspective, because we don't necessarily empathize with the other side, because they're the enemy, they're the threat. We're in fight or flight mode with regard to the other group, or other groups that are competing for power or influence over the minds of people. And there's duality here, because it's this fight against an enemy, and over each political value, or each value, some people might hold one up against over another, and it's like, what are they standing for, right? And for each thing that there's a disagreement about what is the highest priority to stand for here. The other side is the enemy if they stand against it, or at least don't stand for it. And so a unity mindset is a mindset that recognizes every ideology or perspective on an issue or a crisis, well, on anything really. It recognizes each perspective as, rather than competing, offering part of the larger holistic picture, where we can learn from each of these perspectives, rather than being in this fight or flight mode where we're in fear or running away, threatened, submitting to, or fighting, or maybe guilt tripped by an enemy, or by a fight against an enemy, or situation in which there's this extreme and there's that extreme. This extreme is good, that's bad. Good versus evil, right versus wrong, truth versus lies. And the other side always standing for the lies, right? They're always the evil ones who are causing all the problems. Or our side, they're always causing, we're the righteous ones. We're fixing all the problems. And if only they were to listen and do what we say and realize that we're right about everything and they're wrong about everything, if only then would everything be resolved, right? And the main problem is that they refuse to do it our way and believe what we believe, and recognize their ignorance and their sin or their wrongness, and that our values are the right ones and their ones are just wrong and evil or crazy or stupid, right? That is the energy that we get with a lot of what I would call the ideological mindset.